Double check that y'all can hear me. I think I was talking to myself for a while there. Hold on. All right, perfect. Yeah, what's going on, Eric? Hyper, Sprockos, Danny, Sod, Brian, George. Ozerman, he says, was there a live stream yesterday? No, there was not. No. So I had to skip it. I had to push back. So today's going to be the risk management stream, or managing security in crypto, I should say. And then tomorrow is going to be the weekly market overview. Same time for each. Yeah, guys, please hit the like button if you can. Really, really helps out. Mirza, good to see you. And I'm liking all these crowns that are next to people's names. Helps me identify who's been active and who's always engaging. So always good to see. Eric, good to see you. Dalmatian, good to see you. Mystic Eve, appreciate you. Welcome back. Thank you so much. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get this started. So this stream is going to be, obviously it's going to be part of the risk management series, but specifically is going to be about securing your assets. And so in this stream, we're going to talk about how you can stay secure and stay safe in crypto, how you can safely store your assets, what are the best cold storage wallets to use, in my opinion, and then a few other phishing attacks that I have identified so you can stay safe in this space. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So securing your assets. Now, securing your assets is arguably one of the most important things in crypto, right? Because if your assets are stolen, well, now you have nothing to trade. So the biggest thing with securing your assets is the importance of hardware wallets and multi-signature wallets, also called multi-sigs. Now, for those who don't know what a hardware wallet is you have three forms of storing your cryptocurrency. You have a centralized exchange, you have a hot wallet, which is like MetaMask, Phantom, Rabby, etc. Or you have a cold storage wallet, which is a hardware wallet like Ledger, Trezor, Keystone, etc. And I will talk about all of these as well in a minute about which ones are the best to use. Now, some of these hardware wallets, they have more security than others. Some are easier to use than others. Some are harder to use. And so we'll talk about that as well as the pricing and which ones are the best. But the biggest advantage to hardware wallets is they are offline, right? It's not like you have a hot wallet like MetaMask and you're always connecting it to different websites and making it susceptible to hackers and to future attacks. And so that's the biggest difference, is it is your keys. And again, you know, as I say, not your keys, not your crypto. Well, with hardware wallets, you do have your private keys and it is your crypto. So that's something we'll talk about as well. Now let's talk about phishing attacks and scams, because there's a lot of phishing attacks and scams that have gone on over the past couple months. Really, they've spiked up ever since, you know, the US gained popularity with Trump adopting crypto and crypto getting more mainstream again for this bull market. But with that, there's been a lot of sophistication with the ways phishing attacks are carried out. So one of the most obvious ones that I'm sure you guys have encountered in not too distant past is people DMing you, claiming to be myself or one of the Gym Hunters or Luke Belmar. And I'm sure you received a Telegram message saying, hey, G, how's it going? Have you joined my paid group? Or hey, you know, how's your trading been? And they try to sweet talk you, right, through those DMs. And then eventually they'll say, oh, you want to join this group? It'll be X amount per month or a one-time payment of this. And then I know some people who have gotten scammed from that because they think it's myself, they think it's Luke, and then they give them money. Guys, we will never DM you. We will never DM you, period, right? So please, 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 if you get any DM from myself, from Luke, from a Gym Hunter, do not answer it. Immediately block them, especially if they have an encrypted message where you can't see their username. Immediate red flag. And so please, please block them and don't even entertain them, because at the end of the day, these hackers are just trying to get your money. And so that is one of the easiest ways they can do it, is by DMing you, impersonating us. They'll change their logo. They'll, you know, hide their username so you can't tell who it is. Guys, don't fall for it. We will never DM you. Now, that includes Telegram, Discord, X, all across social media. We will never DM you, period. And if you have any reservations or any questions that you get a DM, then talk, you know, ask in the Gym Hunters group, ask in my group, you know, ask these different people, hey, this person DM'd me, is this real? If you have any doubts at all, but we'll never DM you, so it's not going to be real. Now, as far as other phishing attacks, so there's a lot of other ones that hackers try to use. That could be through an email. So you may get an email from claiming to be MetaMask, Coinbase, Amazon, one of these other companies, and they'll say, oh, you've had an unauthorized withdrawal, or hey, someone's, could be hacking your account, right? There could be all kinds of different ways people are going to try to hack you or impersonate, and 99 times out of 100, those are fake. Because what happens is, obviously, if MetaMask sends you an email, how do they get your email in the first place? You don't give your email to MetaMask. So that's automatically red flag. Coinbase, if they say you have an unauthorized withdrawal, the easiest way you can identify these fake emails is just look at the name and say the name is Coinbase support. Click on the actual name in that email, and then it'll tell you the underlying email. And usually it's some fake thing at xyzx.com. Like, it's not a legitimate email. It's not from at coinbase.com, or it's not from at metamask.io, right? It is a fake email, and people try to spoof them. They try to make them look legitimate. Guys, if you get an email from anyone regarding crypto, it's a scam. Don't even entertain it. Go to the official website, log into your Coinbase account, see if you've had any unauthorized withdrawals, call the Coinbase customer support from the actual website. Like, always make sure you're triple checking everything. Never take anything at face value. Never click links from emails. Never, ever, ever. Besides emails, text messages. If you get a text message saying, oh, your package has been, transported somewhere else, or there's a holdup with your package, click here to see the info. Guys, I've seen those as well. Those are scams. I've seen text messages where they say, oh, you have an unpaid toll. Like as far as, on the highway, you have tolls that you pay. You have an unpaid toll of $40. Pay it now or risk being, further, attacked from the IRS or something, right? Something to scare you. Like the IRS is going to get you if you don't pay your tolls. Guys, it's a scam. Do not click any links from text messages. They're scams. Any phone calls you get from people claiming to be Coinbase support, it's a scam. Like, guys, never, never, never give out your information across phone calls, text messages, click any links from emails, or even airdrops. So if there's an airdrop that you see on X, hey, claim your free tokens now. 9 times out of 10, it's a scam. Even if it's from a legitimate account, if that account restricts comments, if you can't comment on an X post from an account, then a hacker has taken control of that account, and they're trying to sift funds from these fake airdrop links. And what happens is you click on the airdrop link and you connect your MetaMask wallet, boom, your funds are gone. So please, any airdrops, don't click those links. They're always scams. Emails, text messages, phone calls, guys, DMs, it's all a scam. Everything is a scam nowadays, honestly, like straight up. Like, you need to go to the official website. You need to make sure you're messaging people from the legitimate group. Make sure any email you get, you're clicking on the name of the email. If it's from the legitimate sender, at jimhunters.co, that's the official Jim Hunters email. If it's from at coinbase.com, if it's from at metamask.io, right? These official emails, if it's not that, it's a fake one. So I know it's a lot, but with the recent attacks on crypto lately, especially with people getting kidnapped in the UK and stuff, that's another thing as well, is if you're meeting random people, don't tell them you're in crypto, because that automatically makes you a target. You could say it's paranoid, but at the end of the day, the crime on people who are in crypto is rising, because criminals know they can get your money just like that, right? It's very easy. And so just say you work in the financial sector, you work in investments. You could say that, right? You work in investments, or you trade stocks. Even say that. That's better than saying trading crypto. So just have some type of alibi, some type of default answer when people ask what you do. You don't need to say I trade crypto full time, or I trade crypto. You could just say I'm in investments, right? I trade stocks, or I'm in whatever. I'm an analyst, right? Financial analyst. Hell, you could say that. So just something, guys, that's not like I trade crypto full time, because that puts you on a target, whether you're on a flight, whether you're somewhere else, because you never know who's listening, who's watching, etc. So just don't even go there. And if they say, oh, do you trade crypto at all? I dabble in it here and there. Like, don't tell them you're a pro or anything, right? So that's some of that. And again, I know that was a lot of info on this one slide, but guys, I got to get those hacks across, or those phishing attacks, because most people here have been scammed one time or another, even myself, right? And so don't feel bad if you've gotten scammed. Just learn from it so it never happens again, and then use that knowledge and spread that to others. That's what I could say. Now, Let's go ahead and see a few questions. There's a few more slides I want to go over, and then I'm going to go over some of the top hardware wallets that I look at as well. But let's see some questions that people had, and I'm going to take a bite of this strawberry that I have. Let's see. Okay, Saad says, can we do similar P&L percent if we follow all of your YouTube videos and apply it? So you could, right? But it's going to take a lot of time. So being successful in trading and in crypto is very... I don't want to say it's hard, but in a sense it is, because you need to put in the time to learn technical analysis, to control your emotions. There's a lot that goes into it, knowing the right people to follow, etc. And so, yes, if you put in the time, you can have the same percentages for profit and loss, but it's going to take time, and you have to learn from the right people. So that's the biggest thing I would say. What's going on, Butchkata? Good to see you here. Achad, good to see you. Brian says, CryptoData will never DM you. Yes, guys, I will never DM you. Block all impersonators. I will never DM you. Hey, what's going on, Max? Good to see you. Brian says, DMV fees as well. Yes. Yeah, if you get any text message claiming to be from the DMV and they're saying you owe these fees, guys, it's a scam. Like, scammers are trying to text message you about all kinds of BS nowadays. Don't fall for it. Zid, the amount of toll scams has risen so much the past 3 months. Yes. Yeah, I've gotten at least one toll scam a week. At least a text message that says I owe a toll and I got to pay it or else, you know, the IRS is going to come get me. Like, it's so obvious it's a scam. But again, it's a scare tactic. And people who are unaware may click that link and they may pay something that literally they never had to pay in the first place. And so always wait to get official things in the mail. Or, like I said, check the official website online. Jake says, predictions on World Liberty Fi. Yeah, so World Liberty Fi has been trading on, I think the pre-trading has opened on MEXC and maybe Gate.io. I know MEXC, but I think it was pre-trading around, was it 20 cents? So anyone who got into the pre-sale, which I think 5 cents was the last one that happened, I mean, you guys are already up 4x. So I would say predictions on World Liberty Fi, probably $1 plus in the long term, but I'd still take some profits whenever it launches. Eric says, hey, Data, do you know if anytime soon gym hunters would do monthly payments or quarterly payments? So, Eric, to answer that question, no, I doubt it. And I say I doubt it, but, you know, never say never, because that topic has been discussed about creating monthly payments. But the thing is, again, it's going to be more cumbersome, and it's going to be harder to have recurring, you could say, cryptocurrency payments monthly, right? Versus yearly right now, one ETH for a year, that's much easier to manage than if you got to pay a certain price every month. So again, it's going to be a lot more logistics, I would say, if you had to do monthly. So, but never say never, right? That could be something where it's credit card only that they introduce for monthly. But yeah, I mean, they may explore that in the future. Hey, Aculite, good to see you. Mirza says, do you always take the 50 and 200 EMAs into consideration when placing a trade? Would you take the trade if price is at support and the stock R size oversold, but 50, 200 EMAs above the price? Great question, Mirza. So, yes, I would still take the trade, because if it's at daily support and the stock RSI is oversold, then it's probably going to break through those EMAs, and it's probably going to be a lot stronger move to the upside after that. So, yes, I would still take the trades, but I do still take them into consideration, but it's not the end-all be-all. Creator says, thoughts on Syrup? So Syrup is Maple Finance, for anyone who doesn't know. It's a big RWA project, real-world asset, tokenizing assets on the blockchain. I'm very bullish on Syrup, Creator. I think it'll be one of the top RWA plays. Good long-term investment, in my opinion. George says, let's say you wake up tomorrow in 2030. What's the first thing to the last thing you're checking in the market until you decide to place a trade in the crypto market? Thank you. So, I mean, honestly, well, I would check X. I would see if there's any big macro events going on, because fundamentals are as important as technicals, in my opinion. I would check CoinGecko, what the market is right now. If the market's pumping, if it's chopping, if it's dropping a lot. I would check the Fear and Greed Index, see where we're at. Are we in max fear, max greed? The Coinbase app rank, where's it at? And then I would check Google search trends. Okay, how popular is, you know, the term Bitcoin or crypto right now? Is it near 100 where we top out or not? And then I would check the charts. I would say, okay, how's the stock RSI looking? How's the RSI looking? Are we at daily support? Yeah, so I would check that. And if everything checks out, if we're in max fear, if we're at major support, if the stock RSI is oversold, the RSI is oversold, I'm buying. All right, but yeah, you got to go from the top down. You got to go the macro wise, what's happening in the world, and then you got to go, okay, what do the metrics say as far as ETF flows, the Coinbase app rank, fear and greed index, how's sentiment looking, and then what the overall market, if we're pumping or not, and then go into the specific coins after that. Ajad says, how long does it take to join Gem Hunters Premium Group? It's fairly fast. So you pay the 1 ETH for a year, and then you'll get an email. And with that email, I believe, then you'll be able to join the Discord. And you have to go through the verification from there. But it's fairly fast. Saad says, why the payment is in crypto? It's just easier, less bureaucracy. Because I'm sure some of you guys, if you have online businesses, you've dealt with Stripe or PayPal, and they've held your funds. If you get a lot of funds coming in at once, let's just say 50K, 100K at once, they may pause your funds and say, what's the reason for this? And then they could hold your funds for, 6 months, a year or more. Like, it's not an exaggeration. That's happened with a lot of people, even happened with myself. So that's why it's in crypto. Makes it a little bit easier. Eric says, if you were to hold only RWA tokens for 10 years, which ones would you hold or like? Syrup would be one. I guess Ondo, because it's kind of one of the staples. And then besides that, there's another one called CPOOL, CPOOL, but I need to still research it a little bit more. Maybe that one. And then there's also one that's, I believe, backed by some big Dubai family or UAE family. I think it's TRWA, but yeah, I would say mostly though, they're just Ondo and Syrup. Mirza says, thank you for the answer. This was missing puzzle piece for me. Also wondering, do you wait for candle close to place your trades or do it randomly throughout the day whenever you spot an entry? No, I don't wait for candle close. Like on the daily, for example, if it's at support, I'll just buy it there. Like, it could be in the middle of the day, but if the stock RSI and RSI are looking good, if they're close to oversold, if it's at support, I'll take the trade. And if all the other metrics line up as well, sentiment, etc. Fufu says, thoughts on SHX Stronghold? No opinion on that at the moment. Mahedi says, hey, John Luke, good evening. What's your thoughts on Say? So Say is an interesting one. I am not in Say right now, but it could be a good play. I mean, I saw some hype with it, a week or two ago? So, couldn't be a bad one. But let's go ahead and continue with the slides. So next one. Also, guys, if you like the video, please like it. It really helps a lot. Helps spread Gem Hunters to the masses. So also, if you want to join Gem Hunters, links in the premium to the premium group is in the description, as well as the free group, as well as our BloFin referral link. If you want to trade on BloFin, best non-KYC trading exchange there is. So also join there. Now, as far as trading platform security, so choosing secure and reputable exchanges. This is extremely important, guys. For anyone that is storing their cryptocurrency across various platforms, i.e. exchanges, hot wallets, cold wallets, etc. A centralized exchange is just as important as choosing the right cold storage wallet, because as we saw what happened with FTX in 2022, everyone thought it was the most secure exchange. It was close with the government. There were billions of dollars on there. And what happened? Just like that, billions of dollars were lost. Luckily, a lot of people got back those dollars, but there were still a lot that didn't because they didn't fill out the form for, properly claiming your crypto, etc. So with that said, choosing a centralized exchange is very important. Now, some of the top ones that I choose, you have Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, Crypto.com, and even Gemini. So also what I will say is if you go to CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, this is also something that everyone should do, is if you actually go to, if you hover over exchange and you click on crypto exchanges, say you're on CoinGecko, hover over exchanges, click on crypto exchanges, you can actually see the trust score here. So you can see how, for example, for Binance, right, it's 10 out of 10. Bybit, and this is basically for reserve data available, so it's saying they have proof of funds, proof of reserves. So they have the funds that they say they have. for the amount of tokens that they have. So 10 out of 10 for Binance, Bybit, BitGet, OKX, Coinbase, Kraken, and then 9 out of 10 for MEXC, Gate, HTX, Crypto.com, BingX, KuCoin, Gemini, etc. So if I had to choose exchanges to use, in my opinion, Bybit is one of the top ones because they refunded users over $1.5 billion when they had the hack, literally the next day. So very, very good on their end. Shows they have the funds available. Coinbase, obviously because they're close with the government and they do have third-party audits, which is very good. So again, I don't want to say they're not going to be the next FTX, knock on wood, but they're very, very reputable. So I'd say Bybit, Coinbase, Kraken. And then from there, I mean, I guess, yeah, Binance. I mean, they've shown to still have proof of funds available. So, and they've been under the radar as well. But yeah, as far as from it being in the US, I mean, Coinbase is a bit, Coinbase and Kraken are big ones. So, and then if you want to have, you know, lower exchanges, Gate.io is a good one as well. I've heard good things about. And then, yeah, even Crypto.com, obviously they're popular as well. So, yeah, but as you can see, guys, there's a lot of exchanges that have a high trust score. So I would look at these and probably put your exchanges or store your crypto across multiples of these exchanges. So that's one of the big things. Next, understanding platform risks and how to mitigate them. So we already talked about the main exchanges, how you can mitigate platform risks, diversifying your assets. Also, never going on any malicious website. So I know some of you guys go on questionable websites. All I'm going to say is you should have a computer where you aren't connecting or going to any weird websites because you never know if any malicious code could be downloaded on your computer, right? You never know. So please, please keep your search history clean. Keep all that stuff clean so you're not navigating any weird websites. Also, make sure you have a good antivirus software, whether that's Norton. You know, Norton is a good antivirus software. You have even just the Windows web, you know, the Web Defender, the standard Windows one is good. But yeah, make sure you have a good antivirus software because, like I said, anytime you go to some questionable websites, you want to make sure your security is checked. But in reality, you shouldn't go to any, and just make sure that you are cognizant of any malicious links that you are clicking. Last but not least, managing private keys, and then we'll go over some of the top cold storage wallets. So, importance of safely storing your private keys. Now, I know at least 70% of people, maybe more, watching this store their private keys online, or they store them on their computer. I guarantee you, at least 70% of people here do it. I will say this, guys. Obviously, you should be storing your private keys on a piece of paper and in a vault. But I know realistically, not everyone does that. So I'll talk to the majority here. If you do store your private keys on your computer, one, I already said this, but make sure you're not going to any questionable websites that can download malicious code on your computer. But two, if you're storing it in a Word document, in an Excel document, or in a PowerPoint, make sure that you are encrypting that file with a password. If it's Microsoft Word, I think you click on File, Info, or Options, and then you can click Encrypt Password. So it's one of those. It's either Info or Options. And then it says Encrypt Password, and you can add your own password so that anytime someone opens that file, they have to type in a password. So do that for Microsoft Word, Excel, or PowerPoint. Please make sure you're encrypting those files, guys. Because at the very least, if someone gets on your computer, they get access. Well, if they try to open that file, it's not going to open, right? It's going to require the password. So try to do that. That would be my biggest advice for people who are storing it on their computer, even though you shouldn't be. And then same goes with managing your backup phrases. Like if you're going to store them on your computer, make sure you have a password. You encrypt it with a password. But the best form of security is not storing it on your computer, writing it down on a piece of paper, storing that in a vault, some lock and key, so that it's away. And even better, if you store it in multiple places, that's even better. But yeah, at the very least, you need to be encrypting stuff with passwords. So now let's go over some top hardware wallets. Now also, guys, if you aren't following me on X at the CryptoData, definitely do so. I'll go ahead and post that in the chat as well, if any of you guys that aren't following. But I talk about a lot of good info and share a lot of good info with you guys as well. So make sure you're following if you're not. Now let's talk about some of the top cold storage wallets. So one that many people may not know about is Keystone. So Keystone Hardware Wallet was developed in 2017. and they actually contacted me a few years ago asking me if I could review their hardware wallet. But at the time, I didn't know much about them, so I didn't say yes. But Keystone is actually very good because they are one of the only air gap cold storage wallets. Now, I'll tell you what I mentioned. So if you go to their website, keyst.one, they have it on their X as well. But you can see their products, their Keystone 3 Pro, their latest one, $149. Very, very good price when compared to Ledger and Trezor, which I'll also cover. But if you go to the comparisons for them versus others, also, you can connect it to your MetaMask and other hot wallets, and I'll explain how they secure it. But if you go to the comparisons between Keystone and then Ledger and Trezor, so Keystone is cheaper. They're open source, so you can verify their code. They have 3 secure elements, which is 3 different chips, so that's even more security. They're the first product to achieve PCI security level in the industry. They have a fingerprint scanner on the back. They also have a camera. They have a 4-inch screen, LCD, and they have a battery. Now, I would say the battery is one of the only negatives because obviously you still have to charge it, right? So if it dies on you, you're kind of SOL. You got to make sure to charge it. But other than that, I mean, it's good because you can use it on the go, right? If you have your phone in your wallet, you can use it on the go. Now, this air-gapped experience is something that differentiates it from Ledger and Trezor. And I'll explain what this air-gap experience is. So basically, if you have, let's say you're connecting it to your MetaMask wallet. So if you go to MetaMask and you click import and you click add hardware wallet, it'll actually say Keystone. Like literally MetaMask will say Keystone on there, and you connect your Keystone wallet. So what will happen is you'll have to scan, it'll give you a QR code. You use your Keystone wallet and you actually scan the QR code on MetaMask. From there, it'll ask you to confirm. You'll confirm, and then you'll need to actually scan from your MetaMask or your mobile phone to your Keystone wallet, and then you'll connect them. And so that air gapped is basically meaning that now your Keystone is connected to MetaMask. Let's say you connect your MetaMask wallet to a fake airdrop website and they try to drain your funds. Well, what's going to happen is you're going to need, from that MetaMask wallet, you're actually going to need to scan a QR code that's only available on your Keystone wallet. Therefore, if they don't have your physical Keystone wallet, they can't get your crypto, even if they hack your MetaMask wallet that's connected to your Keystone. Because of this dual layer security, you need to scan 2 QR codes, one from MetaMask and one from Keystone. If they don't have both, they're SOL and they cannot steal your crypto. So that's why having air gap security is so important. Yes, it's more cumbersome because you have to scan QR codes on both devices, but that's what's going to keep you safe if you are connecting it to MetaMask and that wallet is compromised. So that's just another thing to keep in mind. It's very good there that way. One of the best secure wallets in my opinion. Also, they support over 5,000 tokens. They have transaction decoding, NFT lock screen, and advanced features like multi-sig backup or multi-signature, Shamir backup, and then dice entropy. So versus these others. So this is as of August of last year. So Keystone, for people who want the most secure wallet, one of the most secure wallets that has a nice UI, right? It's a little bit more difficult. It's not as beginner friendly, but in my opinion, it's one of the best ones. And I've seen a couple other guys who actually recommend this who are very reputable as well. So Keystone has stood the test of time. They've been here since 2017. So very, very reputable company. Now, let's go ahead and talk about Ledger, because I know a lot of people, they have a Ledger. It was probably one of the first wallets they had. Now, the only thing I will say with Ledger is they did have some hacks in the past where I don't think user data was leaked per se, but they did have a lot of info that was leaked. And so with that said, I mean, I don't think user funds were compromised, I should say. I think user info was leaked, but not user funds. And so that has been plaguing Ledger for a while now. But if you're going to buy off a Ledger, Ledger Stacks or Flex are probably one of the best ones to have. They do use Bluetooth, so again, it's not air gapped, but they do support a lot of different cryptocurrencies, 15,000, and they do have touchscreens as well, very easy UI. But with that said, just keep in mind that, again, they're not as secure as Keystone, so that's the only thing. And they are a lot more expensive, $249 and $399 versus Keystone, which was $149. So that's the only thing with Ledger, and they're not as secure. You can go to ChatGPT as well and search which is the most secure cold storage wallet, and it'll tell you, give you a list. These three are the most popular. I mean, Ledger, Keystone, and Trezor. But yeah, I would just say Ledger's not as secure, but just depending, right? It's a little bit easier to use for beginners. That's why it's a little bit more popular. So if you're fine with a little bit less secured, but a little bit easier to use UI-wise, then get the Ledger. Now, last but not least, go over Trezor. So Trezor is probably one of the most popular wallets, and I know that most people, when they're choosing between Ledger and Trezor, they end up choosing Trezor just because they haven't had as many hacks in the past. I believe Trezor has been around since 2013 and Ledger's been around since 2014, or vice versa, but they both been around for a while. And the Keystone's been around since 2017. But Trezor, the best one in my opinion, is the Trezor Safe 5 if you're going to buy one. Now, the advantage of Trezor over the others is it's not battery powered. It's powered via USB-C from your computer. So that is the advantage of that. It's not going to die on you, right? But you do need a computer connection versus using it on the go with your mobile phone like you could with Keystone or even Ledger. Trezor is going to be USB-C connected. So if you want it completely offline, you know, no wireless connections, nothing, only to your computer, then Trezor is the wallet for you. Now, it's a little bit smaller, maybe a little less user-friendly, but the fact that it is connected to the computer and it has a nice user interface after it's connected to the computer, it's very easy to use after that. You could do that, right? So Trezor is still not as secure as Keystone, in my opinion. But like I said, I don't think they've had as many hacks. So look at ChatGPT, look at Google, compare them, right? But yeah, I would say Trezor over Ledger if I had to choose, and then probably Keystone over Trezor if I had to choose as well, just because of the air gap security. But again, they're close, right? Like either or, you're going to be fine. Honestly, any of these three, Ledger, Trezor, or Keystone. Actually, let me know what you guys use and what your experience has been. I'm curious to see. But yeah, these are the main three that I would recommend. You can't go wrong with any of them. They stood the test of time. They've been around for a long time. That's what you want to see. They've been backed by big names in the space. And so that's what you want to look at when choosing a wallet. So let's go ahead and go over the questions and I'll see what you guys have. Let's see. All right, Eric says, can we take a look at ZBEC later? It's oversold on daily and was thinking of putting a trade on and it bounced off 200 EMA. Yeah, I'm not really going over TA on this stream, but I'll look at ZBEC real quick afterwards. No thoughts on XRP. Let's see. No opinion on FOMO at the moment. I think FOMO on AVAX you're talking about. It's just they lost a lot of momentum, right? So they did pump to 4.5 mil after the staking ended, but it's just they couldn't maintain that mind share because again, it's hard on AVAX to maintain any mind share because so few people are on it. Obviously, the foundation, the AVAX Foundation, is pumping a lot of money into these tokens, but if the mind share isn't there, it's going to be hard to gain traction. And unfortunately, that's what happened with FOMO. Eric says, like the vid, guys, supports them. Yeah, guys, please like the live stream. Again, it really supports us and it helps us continue to give this content for free. I know a lot of you guys watch this and I do appreciate it. So any, like does go a long way, and subscribe if you haven't. We do these every week. We have 2 live streams a week. So, or actually more than that, but myself, I have 2 live streams a week. The, risk management streams. And then also I have weekly market overviews. So definitely helps out, guys. Mirza, I've read a few posts today about Kraken having introduced MiCA regulations. What exactly does that mean? Ooh, interesting. I need to look at that. So MiCA is basically the SEC of the UK. So they are getting more stringent. I believe one of their things was they required all exchanges in the UK to delist USDT Tether because Tether wasn't following certain compliance measures. So yeah, MiCA is very, very strict in the UK. So I think any exchange that operates in the UK does need to abide by the MiCA laws. So that's probably why Kraken added that. Nikolai says, but if you put your money on centralized exchanges, you have to do KYC. Sometimes you do, yeah, exactly. Now, you could go on BloFin. BloFin is non-KYC. It's one of the only non-KYC exchanges, so BloFin is a good one. Ref link's in the description. So definitely go ahead and use the BloFin if you haven't. And then Shane says Ledger Stacks. He uses that one. Interesting. Shane, what's your thoughts of Ledger Stacks? I know it's the most expensive one here. Easy UI, and I've heard good things about it, but curious what your thoughts are on that. See, E for Hernandez, any thoughts on Uniswap? No thoughts right now. Technically, it is an ETH beta, so if ETH starts breaking out here, Uniswap could do pretty good. Pollo Loco says, will you get in the Pump Fund token with all the FUD? You know, the Pump Fund token is going to be interesting. I know they raised their investment round. I think it was at 4 billion FDV. And some people are still thinking that's cheap. I know Gate.io actually announced something with Pump Fund. Let me actually look at that real quick. I'm pretty sure Gate.io announced... Where was it at? Maybe it was a Telegram message that I saw. Yeah, it's not here. I have to type in Gate Pump Fund. Here it goes. So it says, this is on the Gate.io website. Public sale for Pump Fund TGE starts July 12th, 2025, according to the Gate.io website, and will end on the 15th. Pump Fund airdrop and TGE in 1 week. Interesting. So again, guys, with these type of links, I would not click this, right? I would not click. I would look at this guy. He's got no followers. I wouldn't click this link, but I would see here and I would go to the official GateX account. This is talking about OPSEC and managing your security properly. Never click links like this. Could be a fake link. So, but the fact they are having the Pump Fund TGE and even Virtual Bacon here. This guy I follow, he's legit, right? But he posted about it. So it'll be interesting to see with this Pump Fund token is, yeah, total supply, sale percentage. Interesting. Huh. I think it's 600 million as well. Yeah, 600 mil. So could be interesting. I don't know. I'm not investing in Pump.Fund, full disclosure. I think that after the Pump.Fund launch happens, there's going to be a lot of, you could say a lot of hype around meme coins, but after that, it's going to be a switch to utility plays, and ETH is probably going to take hold. So yeah, I wouldn't do that. Shane says, I like the Ledger Stacks. It's an easy UI. Awesome. Good to hear. No problem, E. Fernandez. Mehedi says, do you consider time and price? Like, what are the specific time that have the highest potential move, if there are any? Mehedi, I do not, but I do notice that usually we have a lot of volatility around 3 a.m. Central Standard Time. So like the Asia time zone, so there's a lot of volatility. So keep that in mind if you have any trades that are open without a stop loss, potentially to get stopped out there. Rudy says, any opinion on Ton? No thoughts on that. You know, there was that article that came out the other day that said you could get a gold visa in Dubai for staking 100,000 Ton and paying $35,000 processing fee. That turned out to be fake. That was completely fake, and that wasn't real. So the Ton Foundation is actually now hiring a new VP of marketing, because I guess when they had that announcement that actually wasn't true, they found out that they need to reorganize their marketing team and hire some new people, which is kind of funny. Aculite, can you look at Fartcoin real fast for me? Thanks. Okay, guys, I'll look at Fartcoin and ZBEC, and that'll be the only tokens I'm looking at today. Again, I don't want to make this a TA stream because that's for weekly market overviews. This is mainly for managing your risk in crypto and using cold storage wallets, which we talked about with using Ledger, Trezor, or Keystone. Some of the top wallets there. So let me go ahead and pull up ZBEC real quick. So ZBEC, I would say it's getting towards support at 0021. That's where I would be bidding here, especially because the RSI is close to oversold, and then the stock RSI is already oversold. So yeah, ZBEC actually looks pretty good on the daily. I'm not even gonna lie. It's getting close to his 200 EMA as well. So yeah, you may not be bad DCAing into ZBEC here. May not be bad. Yeah, it could be a good spot, especially if they have any catalysts coming up. And then you're talking about Fartcoin. I know Fartcoin had a crazy drop earlier on. I want to say, yeah, right here. If you go to like the 5-minute, there is this huge drop that happened from 118 all the way down to 106 in the span of an hour. This was crazy. Like, hopefully no one got wrecked in this. But looking at the daily chart, whoops. I would wait to buy at 105. At the very least, I'd wait to buy at 105, and then you have that dollar psychological level. So yeah, $1 to $1.05 may not be bad to DCA. The only thing I would say is look at this RSI here, crossing below the signal line on the daily, and then look at this stock RSI, also crossing below the signal line on the daily from overbought. So yeah, not looking good from a TA perspective. So at the very least, probably $1 to 105 DCA, but yeah, still a little risky. So just keep that in mind. If you want to have major support, probably say 93 cents, and then below that, I'd look for 81 cents. Ghost Rider says, hey boss, thank you for the free telegram. I've been making so much because of you that I'm able to make more than my construction work. Much love. Ghost Rider, that is so awesome. Oh, I feel great. Anytime you guys are making money, definitely let us know. It makes us feel good. Because again, we're able to teach you guys as much as possible, give you guys the signals, and help you to get started in the space because it's so convoluted and there's so many different, I guess, resources to use. And so it's hard to know which ones you should be focusing on. So at Gym Hunters and myself, CryptoData, I try to share with you guys the best info I can and not provide any fluff, right? Not promote any junk. Anything I promote, it's going to be because I backed it, because I like the team. I know what's happening in the background. That's a big reason why I talk about a lot of the plays that I do. Let's see, Jeskin says, does pump launch will create liquidity hole? And if so, is a good entry for long short sold? So the pump.fund launch will create a liquidity black hole in the sense of everyone's going to be bridging over to Solana, trying to buy the pump token, and then buying some meme coins on Solana from there. So with that, I would say just be careful if you're holding anything on any other chains. Now, we've seen a lot of coins pump on other chains. Like I made a post earlier today, you can see about the ETH network and about coins like AP, American Party, and Monu, that dog, similar to Shiba Inu. Those coins actually pumped nearly 100% since this tweet only. I mean, they did a lot, right? So there's still a lot of action on other chains, especially Ethereum, which I think is going to catch on very, very soon. But in general, anytime you have these big events, like these big launches on certain chains, there is some type of liquidity black hole where people, you know, go basically bridge money off chain and then bridge to that chain that's gaining that attention. So that'd be the biggest thing I would say with that, guys, is make sure you are keeping that in mind if your coins do drop during that time. So I will give it a couple more minutes if anyone has any other questions. But the biggest thing I want to say about this stream, risk management stream, was make sure that you guys are properly storing your crypto and you're diversifying it across centralized exchanges, hot wallets, and cold storage. And if you are storing your past, you know, your backup phrases or your private keys on your computer, make sure those files are encrypted with a password at the very least for a Word document, Excel document, or PowerPoint at the very least, guys. And even if you want to go one above that, name it something that's obscure, right? That someone wouldn't know that it's you know, your passkeys are there, your wallets are there. That'd be another way to help layer in security. See, Gentle says, thanks, me too. You're an inspiration for us. I've made it through the difficult time with drawdown. I'm beginning small wins add up and restored my confidence. We'll try to stay grounded and calm. I appreciate that, Gentle. That's the biggest thing too, is staying calm. So for emotions wise, crypto is probably one of the most emotionally intensive fields you can be in because there's so much volatility and there's so many things that can pull the market fundamentally and technically. And so we've seen that with, you know, the macro view with Trump and his tariffs and other things that have happened with the wars, like how much that's affected crypto. So yeah, if you can create healthy habits for yourself, as they say, health is wealth. That goes with getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, eating organic food only, drinking spring water or reverse osmosis water, exercising, getting sunlight, going to bed at a good time every night, like 9 or 10 p.m. every night, and then waking up at the same time every day. It helps with your circadian rhythm. You can even track your sleep patterns with Whoop or any other health device wristbands. And then also just putting in the time, right? So if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. So make sure you have a structured routine. Make sure you have, if you want to trade via technical analysis, make sure you're putting in the time to studying your support resistance levels, studying the different time frames, you know, paper trading, back testing your strategy. Like, make sure you put in the time before you actually start betting big money. Otherwise, you're going to be super insecure about keeping your trade open. You're going to be checking your trade every 10 minutes. Like, it's not healthy, guys. So have all your other stuff in check as far as health-wise, and then make sure you have your proper strategy in place and build confidence in that strategy through practicing, through repetition, so that when you are in a real trade, you won't get cold feet whenever your trade goes against you, because you already have a stop loss, you already have a take profit, and you know your support and resistance levels. Brian says, you working out today, G? I am, Brian. I'm working out shoulders today. I'm actually going to work out after this stream, funny enough. So, yeah, so that's going to be good. I work out 5 days a week. I stay consistent with it. I eat only organic food. When I'm eating meats, I eat organic grass-fed meat, pasteurized organic eggs, organic pasteurized butter, organic kale and spinach. Like, everything I eat is organic or grass-fed and or grass-fed. So That's what I try to do, and it actually helps a lot. Like my testosterone, I haven't measured it in a while, but my body is actually reflecting, like as far as strength-wise and looks-wise, that all of the diet is actually making a big difference. I'm not eating fast food, not eating any food laden with hormones that's non-organic or grass-fed. So yeah, make sure you guys, if you incorporate all that, like you're gonna see such a big difference, guys, in your day-to-day. Brian says, just had 2 escrows canceled, gotta stay calm. Hey, you know what they say, right? Every no is one step closer to a yes. And so just keep going, because that persistence is what's going to pay off. Persistence prevails when all else fails. So keep going, Brian. You got this. Mirza says, Trump just announced more tariffs. Yeah, Trump actually announced more tariffs on Japan, South Korea. He's going to announce, I think, what, 25% tariffs? And then on 4 or 5 other countries as well. So remember, guys, this whole tariff news is going to turn into a trade deal in the near future. So it's going to turn into its own catalyst. And so that's why I say dips are for buying, especially around tariff news. No problem, Jetskin. Or Jetskin. Jetskin. Yeah. Jetskin. See, Mahedi, ETH weekly candle closed above 50 EMA, sign of something. Yeah, so the ETH weekly closing above the 50 EMA, that is mainly what I was posting about here. Is I was saying it hasn't closed above this 50 weekly EMA in over 8 months. And so when it does, you can see what happens with price, right? Now, what happened here in October of last year, it barely closed above it, then it rejected. And so, yes, that could happen here, but you can see a lot of these times when it closed above, it just sent. So that's where I would say it could be very, very bullish. So keep that in mind. Still gonna be very bullish for us moving forward. So that's why I'm still tentatively very, very bullish on Ethereum. Ghost Rider says, I've been waiting for a good entry on hype as mentioned in the Gem Hunters Telegram. Do you think it's a good time right now at 38.4 or wait a bit? Thanks, G. All right, Ghost, I'll look at hype for you. Let's go ahead and check it out real quick. So, I don't know if I'd enter hype right here. Like, technically there is some resistance turn support here. I would like to enter hype near 35.60. I'd feel more comfortable entering there because that also coincides with the 50 EMA. So right now you can see that you have this RSI crossing below the signal line on the daily, bearish, and then the stock RSI still closing to the downside, bearish. So that's the only reason why I wouldn't get in here, especially because like it's not at a huge support. So at the very least, yeah, I'd probably say $35, 35, 36, probably the place I'd DCA at. And then below that, 31 to 32 would be the next major support. So, but yeah, you can even say technically we're forming a little head and shoulders pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, right? I mean, if you want to like stretch it out. See what I'm saying? I mean, I'm sure this would show clearly on the 4 hour. Not as good. But on the daily, you know, it's pretty clear cut there. So if that plays out, then yeah, I'd probably be looking for $35, $36. DCA Mahedi means dollar cost average. So that means like, you buy a little here, buy some more here, right? You're dollar cost averaging so that if price keeps going down and you dollar cost averaged here and then it finally goes up, well, at least you bought some here. But if it keeps going down and then it keeps going down all the way here and then it goes up, well, yes, you bought some around this level, but then you also bought some around this level. So now your average price is around here, right? Because you bought some at this area, but then you also bought some at this area. So you got to average in the middle of these two. And then when price goes up, then you're still good. That's what DCAing means. You're dollar cost averaging to increase your risk reward. Dennis says, hi, I'm getting into crypto recently. What are the different types of crypto investors? You got long-term, short-term, or medium-term crypto traders, meme coin gamblers, etc. That's what I mean. Yeah, that's the different type of crypto investors. Now, as far as from a trading perspective, you have swing traders and you have scalp traders, right? And you have day traders technically too. So swing traders, they usually play like based on a weekly time frame or higher as far as lengthwise. So if you're investing in a coin, you're looking to swing it over at least a few days to a few weeks. Scalping, you're trading on the lower time frames like the 5 minute or the 15 minute or even hourly. And that's where you're really trying to get in and out. So really it's like the 5 or 15 minute. And then for day traders, you're trading every day and you're trying to, always find an opportunity. And so, yes, you do have meme coin traders, which, they call them trenchers. Like, you're always in the trenches, I should say. And so they're they're on chain. So you can say they're an on chain trader. That's a terminology that's used. So those people are always trading coins that just launched. They're trying to get in and out. You can say they're scalpers, but with meme coins. So, and then you also have your traders that are more investment based, like you said, long term. Those are your ones that are going to be like investing in a Bitcoin or some utility plays and just holding those for 6 months or more. Like, they're not really looking to trade day to day or even swing. They're looking to invest and hold it long term. So depending what type of person you are, I would say I'm more of like a swing trader. Like, I'll usually make trades and hold those for a few days to a week or two because I still like to take advantage of the current market and the current volatility. Ghost Rider said, I got referred to gym hunters via the real world. That's awesome. That's awesome seeing two communities basically working with each other and kind of supporting each other. That's what you want to see. Dennis says, is everything chart related? Yeah, I mean, you have chart related stuff and then you have fundamentals, which are like the macro news, like a tariffs, wars, etc. Both are equally as important, but I would say for looking for entries, technical analysis is more important and chart related. Mirza, if you could also take a look at Syrup and suggest an entry for DCA, that would be greatly appreciated. If not, thank you, Nate, for all the great info you provide. For all this much time, much love, bro. Perfect. Yeah, I'll do Syrup, and that'll be the last token I look at today. And then I'll give a few more minutes for any other questions that you guys have. But since I did mention Syrup as one of the top RWA plays, I will check it out. So let's do some quick... Yeah, I would say right around there. Okay, so good entry for Syrup is going to be near 50 cents, and then below that, around 43 cents. Now, the RSI is still curving to the downside, and the stock RSI is almost oversold, so that's why I say don't rush into these trades. But they are getting close, right? So Syrup near 50 cents may not be a bad bet, but yeah, DCA 50 and then 43. That'd be good levels to buy in. And then resistance are going to be 56 and then 62 cents. But yeah, if RWA gets hot again, I mean, Syrup is probably one of the top plays. Let's see. Mahedi says, just curious, would you invest in World Liberty Fi? You know, I don't think I would. I mean, if there's a dip on launch, it may be a good investment. Like, if it dips down to 5 cents, I would buy it there. But if it goes to like 20 cents to 18 and then keeps going up, may not buy it. I do know that obviously the Trump family is associated with World Liberty Fi and they work with them. But it just depends on how much I want to pay at a premium. Because remember, you have people who are in from 5 cents and then even I think 1.5 cents. So you have people, or 3 cents. You have people who are in from very, very low prices in the pre-sale, and there's going to be a lot of sell pressure. So I wouldn't be quick to invest. I would wait until there's a big dip. At 5 cents, that'd be even greater. No problem, Dennis. Michael says, are you looking for an apprentice? I'm not right now, Michael, but I'll keep you guys updated. You know, if I'm looking for anything in the future. Again, remember, I'm never going to DM you first. So if I DM you, it's a scam. Anything I post or anything I talk about, it will be on these streams or it will be in other groups, right? But it's not going to be like me DMing you. So yeah, but not currently, but again, maybe in the future, it'll be something I may explore. George says, have you got any videos that explains the basics on how to spot an entry, creating an exit strategy? A lot of this info is difficult to absorb and find I'm making silly mistakes due to lack of planning. Yes, George. So on the Gym Hunters YouTube channel, if you go to the YouTube channel, I'll go ahead and right here. So if you go to Gym Hunters YouTube, again, subscribe if you haven't. Click on the live tab here and then scroll to the bottom and you'll see I have a stream called Technical Analysis Basics. It's over an hour long and I literally go over how to draw support and resistance lines. Watch this video. You're going to learn a lot. It's the 3rd video. And then watch the 5th video, understanding chart patterns and time frames. And then after that, watch the video that says Introduction to Indicators. So, Technical Analysis Basics, understanding chart patterns and time frames, and then Introduction to Indicators. That would be the ones that I would watch first and foremost. And then that should give you a good understanding of how to trade successfully. Let's see. Ghost Rider, what's the news with Sol? I think I saw some big news happening sometime mid-July. So Sol, I know the ETF was going to happen. One of their ETFs got delayed, but I think their ETF was still going to happen. And then the Pump Fund launch was going to happen as well this month. So yeah, that's the big news on Sol. Mirza, how did you... Oh yeah, and also Bonk Fund versus Pump Fund. That was a big narrative that was happening on the Sol ecosystem. Mirza says, how did you guys figure out what the price of World Liberty Fi will be since it's not even tradable yet? Which metrics are used to determine that? Yeah, so I looked at the pre-sale price. The pre-sale price was trading at 5 cents. And so I think it was at a 1 billion or 1.5 billion valuation. It was trading at 5 cents. And so you look at other, it's like pre-trading. You know, there's pre-trading platforms that tell you what price it's trading at. Those are what I used. You can just look on X and you'll see the price of World Liberty Fi if you search for it. So yeah, Ghost Rider said also FART is dropping very quickly. Exactly. You want to wait to buy at major support levels, especially today. No problem, Hedy. And then anytime, George. Awesome, guys. Well, hey, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, if you guys haven't liked the stream, I really appreciate a like. It helps the video out a lot. Helps the Jim Hunters YouTube channel spread it to the masses. If you want to join the premium group, in the description, 1 Ethereum for a yearly subscription. It's going to raise, especially as the price of Ethereum rises. And then also, if you want to join the free group, in the description as well. If you want to join BloFin, the best non-KYC trading exchange, links in the description as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. And also, if you're not following me on X, definitely do so at the CryptoData. I try to give you guys the best info I can and spread it to you all for free. So thank you guys so much for watching. Love you all. Have a great Monday. Have a great rest of the week. Talk to you guys soon. See ya.